So I'm joined today by Richard Wells, Head of Office Print Sales at Epson UK. Welcome, Richard, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks very much, Michelle. Delighted to be with you.
So uniquely, from day one, Epson has consistently focused on sustainability, and the sustainability in particular of its heat-free inkjet printing range. Now that sustainability has fast become a buzzword, do you think, or are you finding it a little bit harder to differentiate and stand out?
That's a really good question, and sustainability, as you quite rightly say, has always been at the forefront of what we do, but not just in our products, but in the way we operate ourselves. Right, going back to when we started, we've always had a sustainable view of life, and where our head office is on Lake Suwa, S-U-W-A, we've always taken the view that we need to take out of the lake the water that we use. When we put it back, it's in a better condition than when we took it out. So it's not just about the products. The products are really important, and the technologies that we deploy do allow us to offer more sustainable solutions than some of the other options that are out there. But you're quite right, sustainability has really become the key sort of topic at the minute, and for good reason, and we're delighted that it has, because the world needs to wake up to the changes that need to be made. And that's where we find that a lot of people want to be more sustainability. They understand sustainability as a wide topic, but of course there's many different views of what sustainability means. And we're finding that a lot of people are talking about perhaps areas such as the amount of recycled materials that's used in machines. And that's on an increase, both from an obligation under government guidelines across Europe, but also from companies wanting to do a better thing. And we think, again, that's a great thing that people have encompassed that. We've always looked at this as part of our portfolio across the many products we do, not just inkjet printing, and made sure that, yeah, we are looking at that. We look at the packaging that's used. Can we improve what we're doing there? The energy that we use in our own facilities, especially our manufacturing facilities. And of course, the one that we talk about quite a lot is how much energy is used to be able to create prints. Now, with Epson technology and the heat-free technology that we talk about using, and I'm not going to get too technical here, but piezo head in our inkjet system, you know, we have an ability to be able to produce prints with tiny amounts of energy, which is just used to create a pulse to release the ink. That means no heat is required in the printing process, and of course it does reduce the amount of energy that's used, and that in turn offers great savings in the amount of CO2 that was produced when the energy itself was produced. So if you use less in the printing process energy, then you have in fact been able to assist with many areas of sustainability. Of course, all of these topics, and some of the ones that other manufacturers talk about quite a lot at the minute, are all very worthwhile, and they all have a place, and they're all doing a positive impact to the industry, which we're delighted that everybody wants to take a more sustainable approach to life. And just discerning which is the best is very difficult for a consumer. And our answer is they're all good. Everybody's approach, a sustainable approach, is a good thing. We just try to make it easier for people to understand, something that's easier to understand and measure. So we use our optimization report that quite clearly shows how much energy can be saved by using an Epson product rather than the alternatives, typically from laser, but obviously other technologies as well. And we'd like to think that we're in a good place, that our message is understood, that people do see us as a sustainable solution. We're not the only one. Everybody, as I said, is sort of getting involved, and that's a good thing, but we'd like to think we perhaps just have our noses ahead of most of the field.
The launch of the MC range earlier this year plugged an important gap in your portfolio. At the time, you said it opened up a massive new addressable market for Epson and partners. So how successful has that range gone down with your reseller partners, and is it helping them to win new business?
You'll notice I smile when people talk about AMC, because it's a very proud moment for me and Epson when we were able to bring this product to market. We knew that the MPS industry in many developed regions, especially in UK and Western Europe, depended on the requirement for an A3 medium to high volume machine, and AMC gives us that, and it is such an exciting product for us to bring to market, and it did open up such a much bigger addressable market for us and our resellers. Most of our resellers that work with us completely understand the value offering and how putting sustainability, reliability and efficiency of operation ahead of many of the other considerations that are typically made when buying an MFP. And they felt like they couldn't really offer a full solution previously with Epson because there was gaps, and the gap was right in the middle where many of their customers actually sat. So opening up and giving them a product which isn't just filling the gap, but actually exceeding what was in the market and bringing that together in a very compact and precise technology, which is part of our sort of essence of what we try to do, in a very small footprint, tiny amounts of energy being used, as is the case with all our heat-free technology, but with the functionality that people needed to be able to service the requirements of their customer, and giving them the ability to put things such as inner finishes to further, save space, made a big difference. And I have to say it's been exceptional. We set some ambitious targets. We met, and our dealers met, I should say, rather than us. Our dealers exceeded those targets, and that's continuing. So it's been really exciting to see how it's made a difference to our businesses, but more importantly, it's made a difference to our partners' businesses and allowed them to sell the technology they really want to promote to their customers who are very sustainability savvy these days.
So following on from the previous question, have you got any plans to further extend your range you're offering in the coming months?
Oh, that would be telling, giving view of our roadmap. But yes, the work is not done. We don't perceive there's too many major gaps in the offering that we have today, because not only are we talking about our office products that fall within my division, but we've got a whole array of really highly advantageous solutions in print already, and also in document management through our scanner range and our EcoTank products, which are also available for the office, not just for the home market. And that obviously is really important to us, because that's allowing people to move away from cartridge-based solutions where they may use up to 35 times more cartridges than they would if they used an EcoTank and the sort of ink cartridges, ink bottles that get supplied for that. So we're already addressing much more of the market than perhaps some people perceive. I'd also say that market also stretches out to technologies that most other people don't work with. For instance, we have a highly successful label range, which again uses our heat-free technology and the same systems for printing. And we also extend that into our wide format, where we've been market leader for many years in most sectors, but we're seeing more and more of the office style wide format transferring to Epson. So we've already got quite a lot of the marketplace covered, and probably more than most people because of those extra products. But yes, we've identified that there is need to bring in some further products in the not too distant future, and they're actually born out of the need to address how the marketplace has changed, and more importantly how the print user has changed. We've been hearing for many years about the decline of office print. The actual numbers of decline are very, very small. The numbers of pages being printed aren't going down drastically. Where and on what people are printing is the thing that's changed. And it's never changed more than over the last few years because of the pandemic, people going to work from home, then coming back to the office in some cases, going into agile working in others, being in the office perhaps 3 days a week rather than 5 days. And all of these changes are bringing about a changing requirement for printing. One which really is depending on balanced deployment, as we call it. So looking at what you actually print and what do you need to have in the office to deal with the high demand that comes perhaps in 3 days of office occupancy rather than 5. drive, and making sure you've got a good balance of solutions. But when people are printing in volume at home, having the sort of devices that allow them to do that. So yes, there will be a couple of more launches before too long, and I'm sure we'll keep everybody abreast of when they're coming.
The MPS market continues to evolve, and there's been a reinvention to some extent of the model that's traditionally been delivered by the copier channel. Is this something that Epson is looking to address with a view to expanding your routes to market?
Simple answer is yes. Addressable market's important to us, as it is to everybody. And having strong home office products, as we've always had, was always a bedrock of what we've achieved. But when we went into the office space, we had to sort of work out who addresses and holds that market. And I'd like to think that my knowledge prior to Epson has helped me understand what that marketplace in the UK looks like. And it isn't the sole preserve of the copier industry. Whilst the majority of the requirements are fulfilled by absolute value added resellers, so people who add a lot of expertise, have the infrastructure and the ability to ongoingly support customers with all of their needs around an MPS solution. It isn't what everybody needs, especially as businesses have changed. There's a lot more smaller businesses who work in a different way and therefore have different requirements. So we've seen a growing trend across Europe, but particularly in the UK, that there is more need to embrace and work with the IT resellers to address parts of the market that their customers want to deal with them for. So we're trying to make sure that we've got the right offerings brought to market, from a preferred sort of route for people, as well as just saying the products are great and they're out there. Our copier channel, which we call the Solutions Plus channel, is very, very expert in what they do. They're very good at creating the understanding of value and sustainability benefits that our products do, and they do a fantastic job. But we must embrace the wider routes to market, which we already do, we already have, and we will be doing in a greater degree as we go forward.
Richard, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a really interesting chat, and I look forward to hearing more about what Epson has in store next year.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been a pleasure, and yes, lots more to talk about in the coming months.